Hey guys, we are in the basement, and today guys, we're gonna do part number 5 of the 1971 Nutting and Associates, that's right, Syzygy computer space, and we're not gonna do it alone. No, we're not. Actually, before we start, check this out. Yeah, Asteroids Deluxe has left the building, guys. So we now have room for Firefox or Quantum or even computer space. But anyway, today we're doing part number 5 of computer space, and we are not doing it alone. No, I have my computer space brain trust right here. My team of engineers.
What's up, John?
So Adam from One Circuits here, and of course Warren from the Dexter Project. And this is it. This is my team. My team of engineers to restore this game. I need you guys.
We can do it.
All right, so in this video, guys, by the way, so Warren and I worked on it last time, and we got pretty far, Warren, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
We had a TTL chip that was bad, right?
Yep.
And that enabled our saucers,
right.
Okay? So we're basically able to play the game. Like really, like almost the whole game's there, like, right? The only problem we have right now is there's no sound. It's rotating too fast.
Right.
It doesn't rotate in the other direction. I believe that to be a button issue because that button is blown out. What else is wrong with it? The scoring is a little inconsistent. It's going. I think it was going like 3, 6, and then back to 3 or something,
yeah,
or it was counting up and down and all that. What else?
That's all I saw. But I skipped. I immediately skipped to a certain board to keep board.
And by the way, Adam has a YouTube channel called One Circuit. Be sure to check it out. And Adam just made a reflow oven.
Yeah, that's awesome.
With a toaster oven.
Yeah, it basically has a controller in their computer. You stick in there for like the brain, and then it controls the heating elements, and you can use it to make surface mount PCBs and all that.
Right,
stuff.
and also English muffin pizzas.
Yes, I tried that. You gotta get the right profile for it.
You should do that. Can we kind of come over and make some English muffin pizzas in your
the right profile, the perfect profile for a little mini English muffin pizza.
Anyway, so Adam, I thought it'd be fun to have you here with Warren,
sure.
Because you guys are both way smarter than me.
Okay.
And I'll just take all the credit for whatever happens.
Right. Like usual, right?
That's right. So anyway, listen, we're at a point here where it's
we're close.
We're close, and we also have some new schematics, which I have trouble reading, so you guys can help me with that. Sure. And I don't know, we'll just go through the PCB and see what happens, right? Does that sound fun?
Yeah.
All right, so should we just get to work?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the computer space. And by the way, since the last video, I just cleaned the edge connectors again, because we were talking about this before we started, and really, a lot of the things that we cleared up in the last video seem to be maybe connection related. Warren, would you agree?
Yeah, we had that sort of video jittering with the triple images.
Yeah.
That seemed to go away after we did another good cleaning and reseating of everything.
Right. So let's turn it on real quick. And I haven't turned it on since the last video, and I did just clean this with Deoxit. Just gave it a really good bath, and let's see if anything has changed since the last video. Ready? I gotta tell you, Adam, though, when this thing fired up, especially like the first time when I just changed a couple tubes in the TV, it came to life.
That was pretty awesome.
Yes. And then when Warren was here last week, we replaced that chip, and bam, the saucers were all there. I mean, everything was working.
Yep.
So we're so far away.
We really are.
All right, so nothing's doubled. That's good.
That's good.
So the UFOs are doing their thing.
Now this should be 000?
I don't know. I don't know that.
Okay.
We'd have to go online and maybe... There's actually an emulator maybe we could pull up. We could try it.
Right.
Because someone created some kind of online...
Somebody else filmed it on YouTube or something like that. Then
Or we could do that too, yeah. There's a couple of videos of people with computer spaces.
Sure.
But right now it's behaving correctly. So let me coin it up and see if anything's changed since... Okay, so I'm going to press start.
Okay. So now you're 0. Okay, so 0 to...
Right, and there's our ship.
Okay, it should have set both of those to 0. Right.
It should have what?
It should have set both of
Those
those to 0.
scores to 0. So
Oh,
now
okay.
he's up to 3.
There's thrust, spin.
Now, how's the speed of spin? That still looks fast to me.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's impossible to control, so
Right.
it's definitely not right.
It's way too fast.
There's also some sounds that didn't seem to be right when we had a separate speaker hooked up. And I think that may actually be partly related to partly related to the speed of the spinning as well.
Oh, is that right?
There's some timing circuitry in there that I think is having a problem.
God!
Hey, the sound works.
It sounds like Frogger.
Real funny. All right, so what do you guys want to do? Should we dive into the schematics right now? What do you want to try to fix? What should we?
Yeah, well, let's see if we can get that rotate problem fixed, because with the new schematics, it's pretty clear where we should start looking.
Okay. All right, so let's go to the computer and get set up. Okay, Adam.
I'll do that.
Okay, all right. So we were just watching the score, and Adam predicted what it was going to do. What did it do?
Well, it started off at 2, and then it went to 3.
Yeah.
2, 3.
Yep.
Then it goes to 6.
Yep.
7, 6, 7, and it goes on from there.
How do you know that?
It's binary. So what we can do is,
so you know how it's messed up.
Yes.
It's messed up in such a way that it's counting in a very specific wrong pattern.
Yes. So what we can do is let's do this. Let's tackle the rotation first,
yes.
and we'll save this.
Okay.
And we can use this as like a little learning example for your viewers, and I can explain what's going on.
All right.
Because this kind of stuff you'll see in other games too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, because that kind of blew my mind. Adam predicted what it was going to do wrong,
Right.
and it did it exactly that way.
Right.
All right, so anyway, let's go to the computer. All right, guys, we have the new schematics on the screen here, and yes, new schematics. So I made a post on Clove looking for a copy of the original schematic, right? Because somewhere out there, someone has to have a set and is sitting on them. And so I got no response, and all of a sudden this guy comes in. His name was Pong74LS, is that right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I redrew the schematics, some time ago, and I used my board as reference. And so he posted a link to this GitHub page that has all the schematics redrawn. And Warren, are they quality or what?
It's fantastic work.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look at it.
This must have taken forever.
And he was saying that he was cross-referencing his board with the scanned PDF that was out there and making corrections as he went along. So, okay, so we're gonna try to tackle the rotation. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
And where do you think we should focus?
Well, let's take a look first at where the rotation starts, which was actually much easier to figure out with these new schematics.
Okay. And we're looking at the memory board schematic, by the way.
This is the memory board.
Which is what? Is that the middle board?
That's the top board.
Oh, it's the top board.
Which will be nice for troubleshooting. So the J3N is rotate left, and J3M is rotate right, and both.
How did you figure that out?
There's a page that says has the wiring diagram that says where those come from.
Okay.
So it says those switches connect to those connectors on the edge.
Yep.
So it would be nice if it said left and right here, but I'm not going to complain. So so both of these, if you look, they both go to this OR gate here, which goes to turn sound, and this, as far as we know, is working. But this is just kind of to confirm that these are really the rotation. So if either of these buttons is pushed, this is going to be true, and it's going to enable turn sound. And this up here probably enables and disables it based on whether there's a game in progress, so that while it's just in a track mode, if you press the buttons, you don't get any sound.
I see.
But those are...
But you said it goes to turn sound, so how is that related to actual visual turn?
Well, it also goes to this chip here, UE4 or E4.
Okay.
On the board, and this is a counter chip.
Yeah.
And the left and right go to the up and down inputs for the counter. So it's basically a counter from 0 to 15, and it'll roll over if you go all the way in one direction. So when you press rotate left or right, it's gonna either count up or count down. And I think rotate left counts up, and rotate right counts down, but I might have that backwards.
So your little rocket ship has 16 positions, right?
Yeah.
You have 4, and then it actually, just keeps going clockwise. You have 16 different positions. So that's what this little counter is doing. It's basically every time you rotate up or down, it's counting up or counting down, and that basically dictates what position you're in.
Right. And so if that part is bad, it would go too fast or too slow, or?
I think it probably would skip positions, so I actually don't think it's a problem with that. I think it's probably before that, and I think Warren's got the same idea, that it's got something to do with that guy right there, or some of the stuff that's driving it.
Is that what you think, Warren?
Yeah. Well, actually, I started there, and then there's actually something similar in a different part of the board that I think is actually the issue. But this was kind of where it started to make sense. But yeah.
So you think it's skipping positions?
No, I think it might be. I think the up and down counts. These two signals here.
Yeah.
Are just going way faster than they should be going.
Yeah.
And I think it's got something to do with this over in here.
Which, that cap?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Were you thinking that cap right there, C29?
I was, but thanks to these schematics, I realized that wasn't actually it. Adam didn't have the benefit of these schematics yet, but
this is good though. We can have two theories, and we'll.
Is this like dueling engineering going on here?
I don't think so. I mean, this is the reality of what happens, right? Engineers who work together, it's like, well, I've got an idea as to what might be the problem, and somebody else does, and they work on it together, and they figure it out. And so, I'm actually curious to see. I mean, I have my ideas of what it might be,
I know,
and I can kind of explain it. But I'm actually curious to see what Warren thinks. And
all right, so Warren, what is your theory, and we'll compare it to Adam's, and then we'll keep score as we go along today.
Okay. To skip a little bit of the explanation,
yes.
I think this is the right idea, but it's actually the wrong place.
Oh, really?
Up in this corner, there is something similar. It's actually got more gates in the loop.
Okay.
And this is part of the thrust circuitry for some reason.
Okay.
But I think it's used. I think it's used for multiple purposes. It's got this reset.
Can you
and
point at what
A.
part you want to look at with your finger?
Okay. This part right here, C30.
Yeah.
I think is what the problem is.
So
You think that's the culprit?
So this is causing. Like,
And that's a 25 microfarad cap?
Yeah. So what's happening here is these are a series of inverter gates. So whatever comes in, it puts the opposite out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these are all in a loop.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's making an oscillator.
Right. So if you just connect all those chips together, you loop the input right back, or the output right back to the input. It's going to kind of settle somewhere in the middle. But they added this capacitor, so it takes a certain amount of time for this to flip, or after as the capacitor.
So the cap slows the whole process down.
Yeah. So instead of the output immediately affecting the input, it adds like a delay because it has to charge up the capacitor. And
God, I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm not kidding. Because
So where does this go?
the thing is, though, I probably would have changed the caps anyway, just as like a routine novice shotgun move,
but that may have actually solved the problem.
Right. But I wouldn't have known where I fixed it, but I fixed it.
Yeah.
Right. So this is just acting as a simple inverter because both of it's
okay.
No, actually, no, it's going.
So do you want me to see if I have a 25 microfarad cap and we'll change that?
Yeah, if you do, but let's just.
Or do you think it's something else beyond that?
No, I think that's it. I was just gonna
okay.
kind of show Adam what I was thinking.
Yeah. So where does this go? Once it goes through there.
Reset B, I think, goes to I forget where that goes. It does something else, but Reset A is the one that we care about.
Okay.
I don't know where he got the name Reset A. I didn't see that on the original schematics.
Oh, is that right?
But if you look back where we were,
Reset
A comes in
Reset
here.
B is up top, I think. Scroll down. Reset B. It's an input there.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe that's making the sound turn on and off.
Gotcha.
So it's instead of just being, 'cause right now it was like a solid tone.
Right.
I think when we were trying it before, and I think that'll probably make it pulse or beep in some kind of pattern. So.
Okay. So what should we do?
We should replace that capacitor.
All right, let's do that. And, Adam, do you want to discuss your theory?
No, mine's the same thing. Mine's just like Warren said. It's almost the same circuit. It's just in a different location on the schematic here. I actually wasn't even aware that other area existed, but they both do very similar things, and they both feed into this and/or.
Right. So that C29 right there is slowing that whole thing down too, right?
Yeah. This is actually I thought this was interesting because this. Does the same thing, but it's a much smaller capacitor, so it's going to be much faster.
Yeah.
And what that does, this J3R, it works in combination with this J3R, and that's a spin command from the sync star board.
I see.
So I think when you collide with something, it sends this spin signal, and this pulses quickly. So when you hit your ship spins.
So that's the collide spin signal right there.
Right. So according to this, it's going to.
Oh, that was good. That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
All right, I tell you what. Let's get set up and let's change that C30. I'll go see if I have a 25 microfarad cap.
Okay.
So actually, before we go to the part here where we're going to desolder and solder on the cap on the board, so we need a 22 microfarad cap, right? And the original one was like 16 volts.
Right.
Right, so we're going through all our bins, and Adam brought his big capacitor bin here. And so Adam found this, which is a 22 microfarad 50 volt. Thank you, Adam.
Sure.
But we decided we should test it first to make sure, because this is some old stock, right? Because you were telling me before where you got all that.
A guy who used to repair VCRs and TVs back in the 80s.
Oh, really?
So he ended up, getting out of the business, and I acquired all this stuff. And so most of this stuff has been sitting, for
right
that amount of time.
So I thought I'd try my new toy, and I've been meaning to do a video about this. I bought this on eBay for like $26, and it's some Chinese thing. It came from like Hong Kong, and you actually have the same or similar device, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of clones of it. Somebody, I think, it might have been in Germany, made firmware that lets a standard microcontroller do all kinds of component testing with some clever tricks. And so there's a bunch of companies that just sell these cheap devices now that use that.
Yeah, and I like this one because it was so fit. Can I see yours?
Yeah.
This one had like kind of a slick case and all that. And then Warren has kind of the same, I think, identical device, but just in a different package, right?
Yeah, I have a cardboard case for it.
Yeah. So anyway, this thing tests transistors, diodes, dual diodes, MOS, SCR, what's that? MOSFET?
Yeah.
What? SCR,
silicon rectifier.
okay, resistors, inductors, capacitors, and capacitor ESR. And what you do here is you just take your part, and you got to make sure it's in two different spots, and they're labeled 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we have to have one leg in one, and then another leg in another slot. So I'll go 1 and 3, and then clamp down. And then all you do is you just press test on here, and it takes a while actually. It's like charging the cap up, with the battery. Oh wait, see, I don't think this thing's down. Yeah, make sure that this is down all the way.
Plus, it doesn't know what's in there, right? Could be.
It doesn't know.
Could be a cab, could be anything.
That's what's so magical about it.
Figuring it out, yeah.
But this wasn't down, which is why it failed. Testing. The caps take a while. So it says that the value of this cap is 37 microfarad, which is way out of spec.
Right.
And the ESR reading is 0.39 ohms. What is? I know that there's like capacitor ESR meters, which tell you the life of the cap, right? How much life is left, right? So what does that mean? Do you know the 0.39?
ESR is what, equivalent series resistance, I think, of the cap?
Yeah.
So what does that tell us? I mean, obviously the cap is out of spec, and we also did the same test in Warren's device, and you got like the same reading, right?
Reading, yeah.
So we're not going to use this cap, but I'm curious what ESR means and what that value is telling us.
I mean, every cap has a spec on what the ESR should be.
Yeah.
And over time, they can degrade, and your ESRs can get way out of spec.
Okay, but you have to know what the spec is for the cap.
I'm trying to remember back in college when I took analog classes. I've been touched since, but.
And then so if we test another cap, and here's one I pulled out of an Ian Kellogg cap kit. This is a 22 microfarad 50 volts, and if we put that in here, you just gotta make sure you get it in two unique slots, 1 and 2. Clamp it down and then press test. I like the little transformer. Testing.
Ideally, a cap would have no resistance, but they all inherently have some.
Right.
And the problem with the resistance is when it's under load, you're going to have heat dissipation because it's working as a resistor. It's dropping some of the current.
I see.
And
so the higher the resistance, the more bad?
Yeah. So as the capacitor ages, the resistance goes up, which causes it to heat up, which causes the resistance to go up, which causes...
I see.
So it's kind of like a cumulative effect.
Before the screen goes away, this one is 24 microfarad. So that's way more in spec. Yeah. And the resistance was 0.27, which is lower than what Adam's was. So we can assume that this cap is good.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and use this cap then to replace C30. But I just wanted to share this little device. I think it's cool.
That's cool, yeah.
It's just another little cool thing to have in your little workbench or in your toolbox. Yeah. We'll definitely be using this a lot. So
cool.
Anyway, all right, let's come over here. So I got the soldering iron going, and I wanted to kind of pay attention to polarity on the board because they're using like the axial caps for some reason. Do you know why?
It's probably what they could get.
Yeah, because it doesn't really make sense to even use it in this kind of setting here. And this is the cap I'm going to replace. This one right here, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so positive is going to be the right one, the right hole from this chip here. Because if you look on the bottom of the cap, it says positive right there.
Oh, okay.
And that's going into the right hole, I believe. Yeah, and the left hole negative is that pad right there.
Okay.
I just kind of want to remember that. And I'm a little worried about doing this for some reason.
Of all the stuff that you've done?
I know. It's just that these pads are so tiny. I'm just seeing where we gotta do it. I think it's right here and here. And it's also very hard to see which ones. I think it's that one and that one. All right, let's just give it a shot right here.
Go for it.
I'm going for it.
Get your flux.
Should I get flux?
I'm a big proponent of
I have a flux pen. You want me to grab it?
Sure.
Adam, would it make you happy?
It would, yeah.
All right, I decided not to use flux just because it's in the garage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add new solder, which is going to in turn hopefully make this all happen a lot easier. And I believe I'm hitting the right pads. All right. That came right out, Adam.
Cool.
All right, let's see if we get the right part out. Nope. Oh yeah.
You want me to pull it while you hit it with the iron? Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, the one leg is out, the other is not.
So I'll just hold like this.
Go ahead.
Oh, I see. That one's all set.
This one's loose.
Yeah, it's just the other one.
Am I in the wrong?
I don't know.
Is this the wrong pad?
Let me see. You got that one?
I think I got the right one.
No, you're hitting the right one.
I am?
Yeah, you're hitting the right one. What's going on here?
Should just fall out.
It really should, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. No, you got the right one.
No.
No.
Did I not? I gotta go the other way. I gotta get this one, I think. This one.
You think so? They're not that close here. Hold on a second.
It's the problem with these old boards is like
Really
nothing's
close.
labeled.
No, you're right. I think it is. Yeah, it's that one right there.
Is that one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right here. This is laid flat.
Okay.
You got it? Let me just heat it up?
Yep. There it goes.
Okay. All right, so as far as polarity goes, so the negative was this side right here. I'm going to go ahead and clean that hole a little better. Yeah, good point. So we're going to go ahead and test it in using Warren's device. Warren, while you're testing, I'll go ahead and clean the hole. You know, I looked into getting like an ESR meter, and they're so expensive.
ESR is much higher, but that would make a difference. Right?
How's the value?
It's 34 actually, which is surprising.
So it's high.
They do sometimes go up in value as they get older, which is kind of weird.
So the ESR is 1.1 ohms, which is considerably higher than what we saw.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just that caps in 1971 weren't as good as they are in modern times, but at any rate, let's.
It's totally out of spec,
it's
though.
out of spec, so let's put the new one in and see.
But that should slow it down, right?
I would think that this would make it even slower.
Yeah.
So we may be barking up the wrong tree.
Uh-oh. So Adam's theory might be better.
Well, I don't know. I really like his idea of having that small cap. What I'm wondering is if
Where
it's
did
maybe
the-
the gate that's after that.
And we're kind of discussing here. We're not sure this is it, because the value was higher, which should have made it go slower. Is that what you think, Warren?
Yeah, we tested the original cap and it came up at about 34, which is,
And higher resistance.
yeah, and higher resistance. So the the cap is not as good, but it should have not been radically different in speed.
Right.
So there may be more at play here.
Okay, let me get my side cutters here.
Elna is usually a good cap too.
Whoops. All right, so we're in. We're a little crooked. I guess I could heat it up and fix it. Hang on. Okay. All right, should we give it a shot here?
Yeah, give
Fire
it
it
a
up.
shot.
Just kind of double checking my work here. It looks pretty good. So since we got that new schematic, the guy included a bill of materials which lists every electrolytic. So I'm probably going to talk to Ian and have him put a cap kit together for me and just change them all, you know. Be a nice relaxing job. There's actually not that many. I think there's only like 12 or 15. All right, so should we turn it on and see if anything changes?
Yeah.
So Adam, can you please hit the power switch?
Where is that?
It's on the back door towards the machine. On the back. Yeah.
Ready?
Yep. So Warren, we've been talking on the John's Arcade forum, like Toth Wolf. He has a theory that the boards are drawing more than 3 amps, and that when we measured it wasn't correct how we did it.
Well, we had a bad alligator clip in the process, but
So he thinks that it's drawing more than 3 amps, which is shutting down both the power supplies. We only have one UFO. Oh,
okay.
oh, maybe it was off a screen. Okay, you guys ready?
Ready.
All right, so I'm gonna throw a quarter in. By the time we're done with this video series, there's gonna be like $20 in that can.
Made more money here.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. There's your fast spin. On your mark. Where are we?
Oh, it's fixed.
Yeah.
It's totally fixed.
Nice.
Okay, that's really weird. But I mean, the cap was completely out of spec. So maybe the higher.
Yeah, I can't fully explain.
Warren, you are the man, dude. All right, so score: Warren
Nice
1,
job.
Adam 0.
I never claimed to be an analog guy.
Okay, okay. I want to ask you about that. Actually, this is kind of a side conversation because people talk about analog and digital, and and I'm good at analog and you're good at digital. Like like Ted Dabney was good at one discipline, and Nolan Bushnell was good at the other, which is kind of the story about when this board was designed. Bushnell couldn't finish it because he was weak in one discipline. What does that mean, analog and digital?
Like on my video, I kind of describe it as if you have a light in your house,
Yeah.
and you have a dimmer switch, right?
Digital's on or off, right?
Right, exactly. So it's just like a toggle switch. It's either on or off. Where analog, it's like a dimmer in your house. You can have infinite number of levels of, you know what I mean, of
Right. So
of brightness.
when you look at a waveform, it's all over the place.
Yes. That's
Whereas
analog.
digital is just either up or down.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Right. And so.
But how does that relate to the design and the boards?
Because when you get into like as an engineer, you can usually you decide whether you want to really dive into. I want to be the digital guy or be an analog guy. If you're a digital guy, then you're studying logic gates that basically are on those extremes. Things are either on or off. They're 1 or 0, whatever. And so you basically design these logical gates or understand how these logical gates work. And that's pretty much the discipline, understanding how they work, how you can use them to create your own circuits to make them do whatever you want. So that's the realm that I've been in for many years.
So like a cap is analog, right? Because it's variable.
Yes.
It can, right? There's a
Right. It takes time to charge it up, and it takes time to discharge it, and those sort of.
And there's a wider spectrum of values in between
Yes.
that it can be at.
Right.
Right.
I mean, realistically, even these digital chips are somewhat analog. If you were to look at the outputs and inputs on the oscilloscope, they don't go 1 0 1 0. They ramp up to a 1 and then they ramp down to a 0 and those kind of things. But if they're working perfectly as expected, then you can think of them as just being ones and zeros and that kind of stuff.
Cool. Well, thanks. I actually totally am getting that now.
Okay.
So, all right, guys. So now that we've fixed that issue, Warren, good job. What do you want to tackle now? You want to do your score theory?
Score.
And by the way, so right now, because Ed Freeze was telling me that it gets to a point where it can't roll over, so it starts putting gibberish.
Oh.
So I think that score is greater than 9.
Okay.
Can we fix that? Can we mod it?
That's a good question.
It uses it actually uses a chip that's normally used for driving LED displays.
Oh, really?
Like like in the Dragon's Lair scoreboard, it's got the 7-segment LEDs.
Yeah.
So there's a chip that you put in a binary number and it puts out the 7 segments that an LED would need for that number. But then through a bunch of logic gates, they tie it into the video timing. So instead of lighting an LED, it draws it. It draws it as white if it's on.
That's cool. So Adam, do you want to try attack the score issue?
Yeah. Do you want to explain what we think is going on?
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah. All right, so Adam's going to explain his theory here as to what the score thing is doing.
And we're gonna see. I'm gonna see if you can figure it out. Right?
Okay.
Because you're trying to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
So what we want the score to do,
Yes.
right, is go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc.
Right.
Okay. What is it doing right now? It's starting at what, at 2,
Yes.
and then it goes to 3,
Yes.
and then 2,
Yes.
3, and then it goes 6, 7, 6, 7. We'll throw this in here for good measure, right? So what are these numbers in binary? Okay, well 0 is 0, 0, 0, 0. 1 is 0, 0, 0, 1, and I'll just keep going through. Okay? 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. Now I'm going to write down what these numbers are.
Okay.
And you see if you can identify a pattern. Oops, sorry. 1, 1. 6 is 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. Now, we want 0, but we're getting 2.
Yeah.
What's the difference between this and this? Forget about this for now.
Okay, we want 0, but we're getting 2.
Right. What's the difference between
10.
what you see here and here? What bit is different?
Well, the third one.
This one here.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And what's the difference between this and this? The same bit.
Oh, that bit is always on.
Exactly. If you look at this pattern here, this bit is stuck on all
Ah.
the time. Okay? So somewhere in the schematics,
Yes.
there is a counter
Yes.
to keep score for both the saucer and I think they call it the rocket or whatever, right?
Okay, yeah.
And so all we need to do is identify the counter that's keeping score for the player.
So that third bit is always
on. Yes. And
so the thing's changing everything, but that
Yes.
one's always stuck, so the
Exactly.
value's always messed up.
Exactly, right. And you'll see this kind of thing in modern day games when you see
Adam, that is so cool.
when you see your little character replicated, right? He's on the top of the screen, but he's also on the bottom of the screen, right?
Yeah.
It's because there's a counter that lets you know your vertical position on the screen.
Yeah.
And if one of those bits is stuck, then it'll draw him twice, or maybe draw him 4 times.
Oh.
And that's kind of what you were seeing before.
Yeah.
But I think in your case, it was just a bad connection with the edge connector.
Right.
But you'll see this kind of thing all the time. You'll see patterns like that where things are replicated twice, or by 4 or by 8 or whatever, and it's a bit that's stuck, and it causes weird patterns like this.
Cool.
Right.
So should we look at the schematic and see if we can find...
Exactly. I think we need to dig in the schematic. We're looking at, Warren identified where the scoring section was.
Yeah.
So we'll start there and work our way back, and we'll see if we can figure out where the counter is for this.
Awesome. Okay, so guys, we were looking at the schematic, and you think you found the spot we should be looking at? Is that right?
Yeah, we think.
You think? So tell me, what do we look at? There's a counter, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of counters here. There's a counter here. There's another counter here, and then there's these counters here that are kind of coupled together.
Yep.
And if you look at the single-player schematics, nothing's really labeled very well, but if you go to the 2-player, it labels it in a little bit more detail.
Yeah.
There's actually 2 of these. One is like your first player 1 score, second one's player 2 score, and then this, I think, is the timer, the count-up timer. And so comparing the schematic for this 2-player computer space to the single-player computer space, this all seems the same. Mm-hmm. This seems a little bit different.
Yep.
And so I think maybe this counter is maybe your score, and this is the saucer score. That's what we're guessing.
Okay.
And so what we'd like to do, I don't know if we can, given how the boards are stacked in the game, is to try to probe the outputs here. These are those 4 bits that I drew out my paper.
Yeah.
And just probe. Maybe this is it. We'll probe, or maybe this is it. We'll probe, and see if we can see if one of these bits is stuck high.
Okay.
If we can't, then we can just shotgun and replace both of these guys. And
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right, because the problem we have is that it's a 3-board stack.
Yeah.
And we're not sure if we can actually start a game with only the back board.
Right.
I know it will display the digits and the star field with just that board.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you can actually coin up and start a game. But
Okay.
we can try it and see what happens.
So right now we've removed the other 2 boards, and only this board is in here. This is the SyncStar board.
Yes.
Right. And this is the board that controls the scoring.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And that's the only board we have in here, so we don't know what's going to happen when we turn it on. So let's go ahead and turn it on. So we don't know what the TV's going to do, or if the game will even... We should see the stars, right?
Yeah, you should see the stars and the digits.
It is pretty amazing that we can leave 1 or 2 boards in here, and look at that.
All right, let me try coining it up. I'm pretty sure the timer and everything works with just this board.
Is that right?
It probably does.
Oh, yeah. The score is that?
Look at that.
What does that mean?
Well, the logic that controls whether or not you've gotten hit or whether or not you hit the other guy could be completely floating right now. It could be sketchy, bouncing all over the place, and so the logic thinks it's getting hits, and really you're not.
So the timer's going. That's the saucer score. That's
Right.
our score.
Right. That should be 0. So even though this is going crazy and we don't really care about that, we should be able to look at one of those and see if one of the outputs is just pegged high.
And the reason it's 2 right now is because it's stuck.
Yes, it's supposed to be 0, but that one bit is stuck high all the time.
And that one bit that's stuck would make a 2.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
So your theory is completely correct.
Yeah. We
All
just
right.
gotta find it. We gotta figure out where it is on the board.
Okay, so should we get the logic probe out and probe that chip?
Sure.
If you guys,
The logic probe.
it's pretty crazy, especially what it did to the TV. As soon as you started the game, it went
Yeah,
to like
it's
look.
probably the collision detection because the motion board's not there.
If you guys can see the numbers right there on the right. So the timer's still working. That bit is stuck on 2, and then our hero ship here score just keeps going 1 to 10.
Yeah, and it does change to those funny things when it goes above 9.
Right. It's trying to draw like 16,
Yeah,
but it can't.
it's a pretty simple chip, so it's just not designed to draw those digits.
Right.
Anything meaningful.
All right, so Adam, what are we doing now?
Well, I'm just trying to find power and ground. And so for TTL, power is always, if you're looking at it like this way, where the number 1 pin is in the upper left corner.
Yep.
5 volts is always in the upper. 5 volts.
Before we started, we're like, we should turn Frogger off. I'm like, no, I think it's kind of funny that it keeps
So the score is 1-1-0, right? Because you hit it, one
Yeah.
hit it. I'm still at 0. It's like golf. I'm winning.
We're so tight down here. There's like a little tiny little space between the
Right.
the table and Frogger. That really was a dumb idea to put buttons right there on a game.
So power is always in the upper right
Yeah.
corner, and ground is on the lower left corner.
Yes.
So if you have a logic probe and you're trying to figure out where power and ground is, just pick any chip you want, any TTL part.
Right.
And just grab the corners and you're all set.
Okay.
Now my only concern is this thing is kind of moving already. I don't like that.
What, like the 5 volt?
Well, no,
is-
it's already wigging out here, which is interesting. Maybe I just have a bad connection. Hold on. Find another. It's
Still sketchy, huh?
yeah.
When we did it, we just took it right from
Oh,
here.
let's try that.
It was actually making some noises when it wasn't connected to anything,
Yeah.
so there might just be a lot of interference from the
noise on
TV
it?
or something.
Or that power supply is really crappy.
It's probably not that crappy.
I mean, this is like a junk power supply I just grabbed. This came on some conversion I picked up. All right, so Adam's gonna find a good 5 volt and ground somewhere. Okay, so right now the game's not playing, and this is like the attract mode, right? And so it says 9 and 2 on the screen. So 9 is the player, the hero ship, whatever, and then the 2 is the UFO score, and that's just stuck because that's how the game ended. And so right now, Adam's probing this chip. This is actually really cool, guys. So Adam, please tell me what just happened here.
So there's 2 counters. One is a 74 LS93.
Okay.
And the other one's a 74 LS90. They're
Yes.
very, very similar, right? And so I think I identified where one of them is. The 93, I believe, is right here.
Right, and the way you identified it was how?
Well, looking at the schematic, told me the location of it.
Right, but the 9, how did you?
Oh yeah. So I have my data book here, right?
Yes.
This is my TTL data book that I have with me.
Yep.
And this is the 7493.
Yep.
And it tells me what the bits do. Mm-hmm. So these are the 4 bits that are coming out of it, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm basically probing those 4 bits.
Right.
And I don't know if it's the player or the saucer.
Right.
But if I start probing, what I get for value is, I think this is the first bit. It's 1, and then 0, 0, and then 1. So 1, 0, 0, 1 in binary is 9.
Right.
So one of
which
these
is
guys
what it says on the
9.
screen.
Right, so who's 9?
The hero ship.
The hero ship. Okay.
Yeah.
So that one's working okay.
Yes.
That's this one. That's the.
But we know that this is the chip for him.
Yeah. So
because you got 9.
Right. So now we just need to figure out where the other one is.
Right.
And I think it's the 74 LS90. That's probably the one for the saucer. And
Right.
Figure out. So where's that guy?
I just thought that was so cool because the voltage is high,
Yes.
so that means a 1,
Yes.
and when the voltage is low, that means a 0,
Exactly.
and then if you go to these 4 outputs, you get the binary for number 9.
Exactly.
High, low, high,
So
1,
you
0,
can-
1, 0, 1, 0.
And over time, you know, binary is foreign to a lot of people, but over time, if you just start memorizing, oh, that's what a 0 is, that's what a 4 is,
Right.
those kind of things will jump out at you more.
Yeah.
Probing and stuff.
I don't know. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So we just need
This
to find the
project
other
is so fun. Thank you guys
Sure.
for coming here and enlightening me.
It actually works out pretty well because Warren is very strong analog
Yes,
to me.
I know.
And I'm the digital guy,
assembled the
so-
right team. I
You
knew
did,
what I was
yeah,
doing,
yeah,
Adam.
yeah.
That was just cool to me. All right, so we can assume that's the player ship.
Yes. Yeah.
And so now we got to figure out which chip is the scoring for.
Right, for the other one. And that, I think, is...
And so right now, because it's showing a 2 on the screen, that means that one bit would have to be
It's
high.
supposed to be 0, but it's high, right? So here's the 90 right above it, this guy right here.
Okay.
So let's take a look at what the outputs are.
So we suspect that could be the
I think
saucer
that's the
score.
one, yeah. And so the output here is actually the same output, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the output of this one is,
Yeah.
let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now this one actually only has, okay, 8, 9.
So the book is showing you all the outputs. Is that what it is?
Yes. So that is, I'm sorry, I'm not the wrong one here. So that's a 0, that's good. Now the next bit is the one that we suspect is going to be high all the time, and that's 9, that's this one here. It's actually low.
Oh.
Interesting. And then the next bit is a 0, and then the next bit is a 0. So this is actually
Outputting
a 1, but it's showing up on the screen as a 2.
Should we coin up the game to see if it changes?
We can.
Do you think it would change, Warren?
I'm not
I don't
sure,
know.
doubt
I
it.
mean, the half the game logic's not there, so I don't know what's going to
You know
happen.
what? Hold on a second. Was I probing the wrong bit? No, I'm probing the right bit. 0, 0, 0, 0. Yeah, so it's actually outputting 0, 0. I was mistaken. It's actually 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
So all 4 of the outputs on this chip are low,
Yes, but it could
which
be
means
something-
0, 0, 0, 0.
Right, which is what we want. It could be something between that chip and the logic that drives that value to the screen, right? Mm-hmm. We have 4 bits coming out of here. They go into something. If there's logic on each one of those bits,
Yeah.
and one of them is corrupted,
Yeah.
then it could cause this very
The stuck
similar-
bit.
right? So at least we know where to start. We can look at the schematics and start at this counter, and then work our way towards where it gets driven to the screen.
Okay, so should we look at the schematic now?
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit more.
Okay, we're gonna do some more research. That was cool. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys what we kind of think the problem is. So Adam, I'll try to explain this. You correct me if I'm wrong. So this was the chip that we tested.
Yes.
Right, and it was behaving the way it should.
Right.
It was outputting at 0.
Yep.
Right. And then the next step on this path is this chip right here.
Yes.
And then from here it goes to the television.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it goes to the logic that'll take that binary number and draw it on the screen. It figures out how to draw it on the
Right.
screen. Right.
And this is a chip that we can't look at because it's like a mixed output right here.
Exactly. So this is your score, this is the other guy's score, or whatever.
Yeah.
This is the counter, and they're all sharing that because they all have to go and get sent to the screen.
Right.
Somehow.
So the outputs here is like a mixed bag of
Exactly.
stuff. And so we don't know where in there, and we can't see in there
Right.
the score.
Right.
Right.
But the likelihood of it being beyond this is
Yeah.
very unlikely because then all the scores and the counters and all that would all be messed up.
Yeah.
But we're only seeing this guy messed up.
Okay.
Right.
So because this is okay,
Yeah.
the only thing it can be is this chip.
Inside of there. Yeah.
Inside, there's something wrong with it. We
Right.
can't test it, so we're just gonna shotgun it.
Yeah.
And it's a 74153.
Yeah.
And we have some
we
of
have,
those.
yeah.
And so Adam has that. There we go. So we have that chip. That's good. So we're gonna go ahead and just shotgun that and desolder and put a socket and a chip on there. And so let's get ready to do that. All right, so the chip we need to change is right here. It's G1, which is a 74153. I'm going to go ahead and just add new solder to all these legs, and then I'll use a desoldering iron to remove it, and then also we're going to install a socket and then a new chip. So I'm just going to go ahead and just add solder to all these legs. It's this guy right here, because the solder is rather old and stubborn. The chips came out relatively easy last time.
Yeah, once we had the desoldering iron clean and hot,
Yeah.
it worked really well. You know, it took us 20 minutes to get to that point, but
Right.
once we were set up, we were in good shape.
So I'm just reflowing the old, heating up the old solder and adding new to it. Just, it's gonna help everything just flow nice. Alright, I'm going to keep going here. I'm just going to heat all these up and add solder to every single leg on this chip. Alright guys, I got it all. I put a lot of solder on it because I really wanted to flow the solder to the top of that chip, because that was a problem we had last time. And our heat setting here is 2. This is a Hakko FR300, which is amazing. So I'm just going to come in here and just hopefully desolder all these. Kind of take a look here, make sure it's going through the top. That one definitely is.
You might want to heat it a little longer before you...
Yeah. Just heat it up more.
Or just let it sit there a little bit longer before you...
Yeah. Right. I mean, when I do monitors, I mean, it takes like a second, you know? This, you know, it seems like the solder just wants to hang out on the top.
Well, I think there's more solder on the top than there usually is.
Right. I mean, it doesn't take much here.
Days before
What's that?
These are the days before silk screening, and they had no silk screen, so
yeah,
solder would go where it wanted to go.
I'm looking at it. We'll see.
Worst comes to worst, we'll just snip them off and pull them out.
Right.
That's usually how I do it.
I know, and the thing is,
I don't have that.
Right. Well, Warren and I talked about this last time, and a couple of people in the last video, they said, "Why don't you just cut the legs off?" And then they corrected their comment. Oh, wait, you guys talked about that. You know that.
You got a hackle.
We were trying to save the chip, you know, just in case we had to reverse our path.
Yeah, just in case the chip wasn't actually bad, and just in case the 7430 versus the 74 LS30 made a difference. You know, I didn't want to kill a chip that couldn't be replaced or that we didn't have a replacement for.
And you guys didn't have cases of TTL?
We did not.
You didn't have boards to work with?
We had a donor board.
Right.
All right.
Our choice of donor board was given some commentary as well.
Yeah, so I guess that board was a good board that we pulled the chip off. Was that a rare part?
They're not exactly rare, but you know, they're I guess in some circles the S100 or S-Bus computers that board was from is
desirable.
Still desirable and still used.
No kidding.
It's for sale if anybody wants it, right, Warren?
It's only missing a couple of parts.
Yeah, see, this is stubborn. I'm really tempted just to cut the legs off.
I think our odds are pretty good that this is right.
Yeah. And the thing is, Adam's got 1,000 of these chips.
Yeah.
So if we're wrong, who cares? So I'm just going to take the side cutters and cut it off, and then we'll just do a leg at a time. So I'm just going to come in here and just snip it and try to get as high as I can so we have enough to play with. And I also don't want to hit the traces.
I found sometimes with the Hakko, if you hold the board upright,
Yeah.
so you're not going against gravity, that helps. But yeah.
Actually, the chip's coming off now. Chip's wanting to fall off now.
Just one or two that are still hanging on?
Yeah. Alright guys, I'm going to keep going, cutting these off, and then we'll clean it up. Alright, we got the chip off right there. So I'm going to go ahead now and just solder a socket on here. And Adam, thank you for donating this socket. This is a very high quality one.
Dual wipe?
It is a dual wipe socket. Alright, so I got the socket out, and I'm soldering it in now, and just trying to use as little solder as I can, because these are really tiny. I don't want to bridge anything. It's hard to see. I need like Do you guys have like a big magnifying glass?
I do, but I don't.
Would that be?
Actually, don't use it.
I use one pretty often now.
Yeah.
You do?
As you
I mean, I can totally see, but it's so small and so far away from my face.
Having more light helps too.
Yeah.
It's a little bit not bright.
Okay, so I would say that's good. So should we throw the chip in here and see what happens? So let's grab the chip. I'm going to do a quick continuity test just to make sure I didn't bridge anything. I don't know. I'm just kind of anal that way.
Always a good idea.
Yeah. I just don't trust when things are so small and close that I'm not actually bridging it and can't see it. And you have the beeps we're hearing there is just from me moving it. Okay. Looks like my work was good. So let's put the chip in. Adam, we have the and so this is a, what does this chip do?
It's a selector, so you can send like 4 binary values into it, and then you can pick which one you want.
Okay.
And so you have 4 counters here, and so it basically just selects between the 4 counters.
Okay. And the notch matches all its neighbors. I'm assuming that's correct. All right, so everything looks good. So let's throw it in, and should we get the other boards, or you don't think we need them right now?
Probably don't need them. I think
Let's try this by itself first.
Because the 2 should be a 0, right?
Right.
theoretically, if we found it.
Okay, so we got the board in. So let's go ahead and turn it on. And I'll come in the front. Adam, could you please hit the power? And we'll see what happens. Do. Warming up. This is how it was back in the day. You couldn't watch TV. You know what's funny? The TV has this instant on button.
Yeah.
What
does that do?
All it does is it keeps the tubes glowing.
Oh, no, we still have a 2.
We still have a 2.
We really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it says 0200.
No kidding.
So that means that bit is stuck still, right?
Wow.
The only other thing it could be is that one chip then.
That one counter, yeah. But
The output you were getting on it was was 0.
Is it the other multiplexer then, instead of the one we changed?
I don't know, that MSB goes through that first multiplexer though.
I mean, is it safe to assume that because we see a 2, we didn't fix it?
Well,
Point it up.
Yeah, we start a game and see if it resets
I mean,
to 0.
yeah. Because I was going to say, is it worth the exercise of putting all the boards in there
That's what I was thinking, too.
and
might
playing the
do that.
game
Yeah,
to see if the score is still screwed up?
Let's do that.
It's 0.
Set to 0.
It reset to 0.
Okay.
Okay.
So we did fix it.
Yeah. Well, let's put the boards in.
Okay, all right, let's put the boards in. And by the way, we're gonna take a quick pizza break.
There you go.
And I want you guys to know I did buy these guys food because in the last
We're
video,
not doing this for
people
free.
were saying, Warren, did you at least feed Warren? And everyone's like, yeah, I know, John. John didn't give him anything. Did you feel slighted in the last video?
No. Pizza.
So we're gonna take a quick pizza break and then we're gonna come back but I think we fixed it.
Yeah.
So we've so far fixed 2 things.
What's left?
Sound is the big issue.
Sound.
Really, sound
Well,
is
you were onto something.
what.
We'll save that till later.
Okay, yeah. Let's have our pizza break and we'll come back. All right. So I got you guys
Evidence, right? You got evidence.
nothing but the best. This is Pizza Hut,
Which you love.
which I hate and always make fun of. But I'm gonna tell you, the fact that I can go on their website or pull out my phone
kidding, yeah.
and order it has made me order from there more than I normally would
You don't
ever.
have to talk to anybody.
Right, you don't have to talk to anyone. You just go. This is not a pizza commercial, but I just go on the website and just push a button, and it just shows up. I don't have to think about. I don't have to find a menu. I don't have to go on some. So anyway, all right, we're gonna enjoy some pizza, and then we'll get back to work. Okay, our break is over. So we put all the boards back in, and we're gonna coin it up and just make sure that the UFO score is correct. And apparently, it must always start at 2 when you turn it on. It's gotta be, right? the default track mode. So here goes the quarter. Start 0.
Beautiful. So
1. Okay, he just got hit once. I love that the hit detection works.
This is the hard part because we actually have to become good at the game so we can make the score go up.
We have to be bad at the game.
Be bad at the game, right?
Because we want to get hit by the UFOs.
Oh, 2.
They have 2. So now if it goes to 3, we know we fixed it, right?
Yes.
3.
Boom. There we go.
We got it.
Sweet. So the score is Warren 1, Adam 1.
That's right. Is that right?
So we got sound left, so you're up, John.
All right, actually, okay, let's review because honestly, everything's working now.
Yeah.
Right? We can't rotate the one way because the button's bad, and we're 99% positive that's what it is. And by the way, I was wondering though, do you think the sprite, quote unquote, sprite of the UFO is bad?
No.
Is that supposed to be like a thrusting?
I actually thought it was pretty cool that it's animated. I didn't see anything in the design that would do that, but something does.
Yeah, it really is amazing the little details in this simple little game.
Just the fact that they added the little thrust flame behind the...
I know.
That's crazy.
And you think about it, you know, this is obviously the precursor. I mean, really, Nolan Bushnell did not come up with this game idea. You know, this was Space War, right? Which was the PDP game at Stanford or whatever, right? But really, so that game, Space War, basically directly influenced Asteroids. Mm-hmm. That was the one that really perfected this formula.
Right.
You know, and then Space Duel after it, and then a gazillion games, Space Fury, you know, that use this kind of gravity scheme, left, right, rotate, thrust. And it's just mind-boggling they got this game to work with these parts. And they didn't.
It has proper gravity because your ship, once you thrust it, it just keeps going forever.
Yep. And just the little details they didn't have to put in there, like you said, like the UFO spinning is so cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, so everything is working as far as we know, gameplay-wise. Mm-hmm. I mean, we fixed the game now, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
We're just missing sound.
Yeah, I think it's fully playable.
So we did a little experiment off camera. I actually took some headphones because I wanted to make sure the speaker was good. And so I took my headphones and just wired them up to these terminals.
Yep.
And we got sound in the headphones.
But only just a little bit, and only if you have one wire connected.
Which is really weird.
Really weird.
So, so I was able to get sound and hear computer space very faintly, only if I had one lead. If I added the second lead, there was no sound.
Right.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, the way a speaker works is there's a coil in there, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of around a magnet. And so if there's a difference in voltage on these two signals, then the speaker will move.
Yeah.
So if for some reason these two wires were tied together somewhere and they were getting the exact same signal, then it would
evened.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So you need a difference between these two, and that amplifies the difference.
Right.
So if there's no difference between these two, then.
But how can we verify that there is a difference or isn't?
You kind of need well, ideally, if you had a scope with two inputs.
I've actually got my scope.
Oh, there you go.
All right, so should we do that?
Yeah.
You could check two inputs.
All right, let's hook up a scope to this, and then we can visually see what each input is doing.
Right.
And then also, another thought I had was replacing the tubes and cleaning them. I mean, that's a shot in the dark, but I did order all new tubes. I went on eBay, and I ordered these from 6 different sellers.
John's a tube guy.
And they actually were not expensive at all. It cost me $37 ship for all of these.
Wow.
Even with using 6 different sellers, I guarantee you that all the sellers were in their 70s. Because it was like you know, Ed's Radio Repair, you know. That was like the name of the seller, you know. Gene's Vintage Radios.
They owe me a check, right? Because I don't have PayPal.
Right. And they were like, you know, $2 with $3 shipping or $5 with free shipping. So they were very inexpensive. So I have all the tubes. Supposedly these are all new old stock. It's possible they're not. You know, maybe someone pulled it from a bad TV and put it in the box. We don't know. But we could try changing the audio amp tube because we know which one it is, according to the troubleshooting guide. I mean, do you guys want to try that?
Sounds like
is that a long
simple,
shot?
I don't know. It's a simple thing to do before we pull.
What do you think? We can clean the socket too. Should we? What should we do first? Change the tube?
Well, let's take a look at the speaker first.
Okay, so let's pull the scope
get
out,
into the TV.
and then we can start looking at the TV and maybe swapping tubes. But we do have the tubes, and we have the troubleshooting guide for the television that tells us which tube does the audio. So, all right, let's get set up. All right, so we hooked up a scope, and so we kind of discovered what we thought or discovered earlier when we used the headphones, right? And so here's, right now it's in a track though, so should we coin up?
Yeah.
So you can see nothing, we just have a hum basically that coming from the TV or something.
Those short spikes, that's just the 15 kilohertz scan of the monitor.
So the yellow is one of these wires, right?
Right.
Speaker here.
So you can see here we have the scope hooked up to the speaker right there.
So yellow is this one, blue is this one.
Yep.
And then we can see what signal is being sent to the speaker on the scope here, right?
Right.
And so Warren added this purple line here, which tells us the difference between the two. And so as the purple line starts going crazy, we should hear something out.
Right.
These are always the same, because the purple line is basically
There's no push and pull.
Yeah, it's basically, the purple line is this minus this, I think. Right. And so if the purple line is flat line, which it is now, it means,
But it should be flat now because we're in a track mode.
It could be, yeah.
But when we coin up, that purple line should go crazy.
Yes.
Because we do have a difference.
Right.
And so there he goes. He's going to start the game. Now look how the waveform went crazy.
But look at the purple.
But look at the purple line. There's no difference.
Right.
So we're getting some kind of a signal, but it's the same signal going to both wires. They're canceling each other out.
Exactly.
So it's not outputting.
It's outputting what it should, but it's outputting it on both lines. That's the problem.
Yes.
And one of these should probably be grounded or something.
Yeah.
So let's look at the schematic and see what the audio.
The schematic for the television, because we verified earlier that this TV or the board was outputting sound correctly because we used an external amplifier, bypassing the television amplifier, and we were able to get the computer space sounds. So the issue we have right here is a television issue.
Yeah.
And actually, let me check something. If I turn the volume up and down,
Oh.
Right.
see that does change.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Because someone had a theory in one of my comments saying, in the first part of the first computer space video, I played with this and got a horrible spark, an arc, when I turned it off.
Oh, really?
Yes. I'm guessing and hoping because it was just dirty or whatever, right? And I turned it off and then they went. So people were guessing that I blew the pot out when that happened, and which is why maybe we're getting no sound.
Right.
But you can just kind of verify that pot's working.
Yeah, it's.
And you can see it. Yeah, you can see that
Yeah,
the signal is doing what it should do.
Yeah.
It's just that it's on both sides of the speaker.
Yeah, I mean, so the pot is working.
Yeah. So let's look at the schematic. Unfortunately, the schematic doesn't show the modifications that they did.
Oh, right.
But I've got a document somewhere that shows what they are, so we'll see if we can figure out what
Okay. And Adam, you were suggesting that we could take one of these wires off and run it to ground?
As an experiment, yeah.
Would
just
that
maybe
work?
Take it off. You should be. I mean, because now you have no differential between these two lines. So
Yeah.
if you give it something, ground to act as a baseline, then you should be able to activate the cone in there. So.
Do you want to try that really fast?
You got a ground wire right there.
Right.
Should we try it?
This guy here. Yeah, I would disconnect it first, right? I would desolder it or whatever.
All right,
I
let's.
wouldn't leave it there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Don't
but
connect
yeah,
ground.
we can do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's desolder it and hook a ground up to it. All right, so here's what we did. We desoldered the wires from the speaker. We thought initially it was maybe the speaker, which is why the signals were tied together.
If the speaker was shorted, then you would see that too.
Right. So we hooked up some headphones to here, and we're getting sound, and we can hear it.
It's very faint.
It's very faint. It's not loud. Doesn't that mean though that we should be able to put our ear up to this and hear it too?
I don't know. Well, maybe.
Maybe. It would be even more faint though.
It would.
Driving the speaker instead of that.
Yeah, okay. So what we're thinking is it's the transformer, because we looked at the schematic over here, and so this right here is the entire amplification circuit, okay? And everything before it, we've decided has been bypassed because we believe they're tapping in right here. This is the modification that everybody talks about, where you bypass the tuner, right? And this is the tuner circuit, where it's getting audio from the tuner.
Part of the tuning.
So the audio is being dumped in right here, we believe, from the PCB, and then it goes to, this is the volume knob right here, and then to this tube, then there's a resistor, and then through a transformer to the speaker. So the only parts in this whole amplification circuit are this resistor, this tube, the volume knob, and this transformer, right? We've already swapped out the tube from my other TV, but for the heck of it, we're gonna change the tube because that's the easiest thing to do. And then if that doesn't fix it, then we're gonna look at this resistor and this transformer, which we might swap from the eBay TV, right? Because we don't know if this transformer is working, which you could see is right before the speaker.
We may also need to check those voltages and just make sure that those.
Right.
Are
But here's what's
somewhere
interesting.
they should
The earphone jack doesn't work either. Does that matter?
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, I mean, if you're not getting out of your speaker, then you're not going to get anything in the earphone jack, right? If the transformer is messed up or that tube is messed up, you're not going to get anything out of the speaker or the earphone jack.
Yeah,
you can see the earphone jack is hooked up directly to that
Yeah,
transformer.
T301, so it's connected to the same
In
place as
parallel
the
with that
speaker.
guy.
Okay.
So
we're getting audio. Audio is going through the television and coming out. It's just not
So
loud.
faint, yeah.
It's just not loud, right?
Right.
Okay.
We know it's getting through the volume control.
Yes.
Because it's faint, but it goes up and down when you change the
Right.
volume.
When we had the headphones on, Warren was able to adjust the volume, and we could hear the volume changing in the headphones. All right. So I tell you what. Why don't we, just for the heck of it, because it's easy to do, let's change this tube and clean the socket with deoxit. And we'll use the new old stock tube I got from eBay. I'm sure the one we pull from the eBay TV is fine. It's got to be, because that TV was making sound, static sound, you know. But whatever, we'll just do it because we can. So let's set up for that. Okay, we just been talking about this, and Warren actually measured the resistance on the speaker wires coming from the television, and it was like a mega ohm, right?
Right.
Which kind of tells us that the transformer is potentially bad.
Yeah.
Right.
It kind of makes sense if there's a break in the transformer.
It's like infinite resistance almost.
It's gonna induce a little current on both wires, kind of the same, instead of flowing through.
Yeah.
So
we are really thinking it's the transformer, but just for the heck of it, we're still going to change the tube and clean the socket because it's the easiest thing to do right now. So,
yeah, and the tubes that came out didn't look that good. So
right.
There could still be a problem with the tube and the socket.
Right. So we're going to do that. Now, some of you guys yelled at me in the last video saying that I removed the tubes the wrong way because I kind of wiggled them a little bit as I pulled up. And I guess if you're an old tube guy, you're supposed to lift straight up and not wiggle. What do you think about that, huh?
I think it's pretty hard to get it out without giving it at least a little wiggle.
I kind of agree with you, and I think, you know, this is really kind of tight here. We should discharge the monitor. Should we do that? And everyone yelled at me too when we did that last time because I did that wrong somehow. The discharge tool is on the freezer. So we're going to discharge it to the ground strap, which last time I discharged it to this, which is going nowhere. And I just kind of found any metal I could. So we're going to go on this ground strap. Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah, I think that's the best spot on it.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
One hand is in my pocket. Oh, we got something there. I did not last time I was doing it.
No.
And everyone said, "Oh, floating ground, you're dangerous." All right, so we've discharged it. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to remove this.
the iron. So right there.
Yeah. So I'm just going to pull up and try not to wiggle. Okay. And then we're going to clean, and we got all the pins there. We didn't lose any. And then we're going to clean that with some deoxit and just let it sit for a couple minutes and then put the new tube in there. Deoxit's kind of funny because it doesn't like evaporate like normal contact cleaner. Cause I used to always use like that, general, like just electrical contact cleaner, and it's like all alcohol based or something, and it evaporates.
Like 20 seconds.
Yeah, this stuff kind of sticks around, but if you read the manual, it just says wait 2 minutes. And it does say to work the part in there now. Should we do that? Should we plug the tube in and remove it again?
Yeah, if it says to.
All right. So this tube was, which one was it again? The B17BF11, which is right here. Yeah. And so this one I got on eBay, 17BF11 Compactitron, and it happens to be a GE brand. And also some guys said that you're not supposed to touch the tubes with your hands.
Why?
I don't know, the grease on your hands.
I know for like halogen bulbs,
Yeah.
you don't want to because the heat doesn't dissipate
Right.
the same way afterwards. So maybe with tubes you have the same kind of issue.
Yeah, and I suspect I'm not the first one to touch a tube, so I'm doing it.
A lot of rules, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot of rules in this world. This is so hard to get. I cannot see anything. Thank you. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put the tube in carefully and not burn myself in the soldering iron. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in, guys, and then we're gonna remove it, and then we're gonna let it sit. Jesus. All right, I'm gonna put this in, and then I'll pull it out, and then we'll put it in again. Okay, so the tube's back in. We put the deoxide on the socket, let it sit for a couple of minutes, and then put the tube in. So let's try with our new old stock tube to see if we get any different result.
Okay, we gotta plug the speaker back in.
Oh, the speaker's not plugged in. Oops. All right, we got to solder this really fast.
What do you want, just clip it? Clips? Yeah, just got a couple clips.
Here. All right. So we're just gonna clip the speaker wire to the speaker because we desoldered it. So. Okay. All right, so let's turn it on and see if anything changes here. Cross your fingers for us.
Got the volume turned up probably, right?
Yes.
Cool.
I think the only thing that could be wrong that we could have fixed is the socket. I really think that tube was fine. Don't you?
Yeah, the tube, you were getting static in the portable, so.
Right.
Yeah.
The tube I think was okay, so maybe just the socket.
Right. That's the only thing we could have possibly fixed. All right. Should we coin it up?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Yeah, no change. So there's no sound. Let's make sure the volume's up, and it is. Okay, so guys,
Transformer.
which is gonna suck.
Yeah, it's in the front of the chassis, right?
Yeah, we got to remove the chassis somehow
Yeah.
on both TVs.
Do the caps at the same time then.
You think we should do the can?
We should at least do the paper cap that's in the front.
Yes. Yeah, I have the paper cap replacement, and then I have the electrolytics that are in the can.
Okay.
We could put the can on the ESR or the.
Yeah, we could test the can and see how it looks. 'Cause if it tests okay, I don't think it desperately needs to be replaced.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we clean up here a little bit, make some room to work on the TV?
Sure.
Because right now it's a big mess, and we're gonna dive into the TV and I guess when we do this, should we remove all the tubes and clean all the sockets and do everything, while we can get to it all easy? The thing is, my thought on the tubes is I want to do them one at a time. You know, change one, test. Change one, test. I don't want to change them all at once. I think we're asking for trouble if we do that. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if it
Even necessary.
Yeah, it's working.
Just leave the
so I
tubes
hate to
alone.
do it.
All right, you're right. I mean, we got new tubes if we ever need them down the road. Let's just leave it alone because it's working.
Sure.
All right, so let's clean up and we'll see what we can do with the TV. All right, we cleaned up a little. We're gonna just kind of quickly take a picture of the wires. I did already discharge the monitor just like we did before. And we disconnected the power going to the cabinet. This is actually a good spot while we're getting ready. I can go in there, undo the control panel so we can get to the button.
Oh, okay.
You know, and get the money out of the coin can that we put like $20 in there already. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take a picture of these wires so we remember what goes where. And there's a purple, and black, and green. And we can disconnect those. Just looking at the photo. Where's the screwdriver? Here. Yep. Okay, so we got that well documented. And then the speaker wire that comes from the TV is already disconnected. I'm going to go ahead, while Warren's doing that, I'm going to grab our donor TV. Boy, thank God I got this thing. A lot of people are wondering why we're not just using this chassis, by the way.
Just throw it in there and be done with it.
It's not exactly the same, is it?
It is.
Said about using the actual TV.
I agree.
Shipped with the thing.
I mean, this is the original S3 chassis that Nolan Bushnell's hands potentially put in, right? We got to stick with that, don't you agree?
Mm-hmm. It's close enough. It's going to work.
Right. I mean, if we wanted to use this television, we'd have to perform the same mod, which we think we have a handle on because it's just that test point, right? Oh, look at that. So...
One thing I do want to do is short out that electrolytic cap.
Right, we're going to short out the big caps so we don't kill ourselves. Because those things can hold a charge.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna come in here and just, the screw is not on here right now. You just have to get these 2 tabs out. Okay. All right. So what's the plan, Warren? We got to get this out.
Yeah.
We don't even know how it's in.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of research, I think.
So this speaker in here is a 3.2 ohm. So this is literally, the speaker that's on the back of the game is literally the one they removed it from the inside of the TV. So you're trying to short that cap?
Yeah.
You want me to hold the light?
No, I got it. That's the outside of the cap.
So you're shorting each of the positives to the ground?
Yeah. Although, just to make sure that's actually, this might actually, yeah, this is actually the ground. Okay.
All right.
It looks like the rest of the circuitry bleeds off the charge.
Okay. You know, I'm going to discharge this television while it's just kind of hanging out here. Because I don't know if I really did discharge it last time. And this time I'm going to use the ground strap. Because that anode is bare. Okay.
Yeah, it'd be nice to find a new cover for it, yeah.
You know, the pictures I've seen online, all the cups look like that. That's not right, though, is it?
Yeah, I don't think
It's
it always
shrunk.
looks like that. It should. You can see like the sort of sealant around.
Right.
It's supposed to be up again.
And this TV right here is missing it all together. Okay. So, Warren, we're trying to find the transformer, right? Or do you know where it is?
Yeah, I know where it is. It is. There's the tube,
Yep.
and it is right down towards the front. It's about 1 inch tall on the board. I don't even know if you can see it.
Can't see it from here. You see if we could zoom in. It's not that metal thing right there with the 2 holes.
No, it's underneath that.
Actually, I think you can see it better on this chassis.
Oh, is it with the red wire going to it there? Whatever. It's in the front. We got to get to it. So
Yeah,
we got to pull this chassis out. It's got to be simple. Looks like we got to take that.
Yeah, I got to take that bolt off because this is like attached.
And then maybe the whole thing just slides out.
Yeah, this side already wants to slide.
So it could be it's just being held in by that.
We just need to get that off.
All right. So let's get a nut driver. Is that Phillips or a nut driver?
Nut driver.
All right. All right. Here's my socket set. I know this is exciting stuff, so we're gonna go ahead and just take this a nut off, and then hopefully pull the chassis out. All right. We're trying to pull the chassis out, and we realize we have to remove the knobs because the pots go right through to the front. You ever think that we'd be working on a 1971 television set?
No, never.
All right, so over here, these wires that go to the tuner, we figured out, or Warren told me, this is the tuner over here. All right. Can you get it out now? Let's see, what are we hitting? That might be enough. Do we need to... Oh, hang on. Do we get to pull the anode out or no? Should we pull that out?
Yeah, we should.
All right.
Might want to
Discharge it again?
start it again.
All right, John does not feel like dying today. Hang on. Okay, so I just quickly removed the anode off camera. I used the screwdriver to do it and discharged it at the same time. All right, so Warren, what do you see? So the transformer, by the way, you could see easier on this board. It's that little teeny tiny transformer right there. And so we're going to pull the one from this board and put it on this board. Is that still the plan, guys?
Yep.
Does it look the same on this one, Warren? Is it the same spot?
Is it
Oh yeah, it's right there. It's all crusty looking though, see it?
is it crusty?
Because it's got deoxit all over it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got deoxit all over it? Yeah, the deoxit does not evaporate at all.
Do you see it?
I do see
It's
it.
underneath the green and white wire.
So it's right here. It's
yeah, it's right around
all these guys right here.
So
B plus rectifier. All right, how are we gonna do this? So one of us is gonna hold it, and,
Yeah, I'll
and
hold
someone
it.
else desolder. Oh, by the way, look at that. Is that normal?
What's that? Oh, how they're open right there?
It's gotta be. That's gotta be normal. Those pins maybe are just not used.
Right.
yeah, I mean, there's a big cutout in the board. So
Yep.
But you can see it here too, and
Oh yeah,
interesting.
it's totally interesting. Yeah. So they don't use all the pins, and they just leave a big opening in the board.
Okay, so we should.
So we just have to identify which one of these to desolder. I can't tell from here.
Well, it shows you a picture.
coils?
Right? So exactly. So there's
Yeah,
two
T301.
there. Yep.
Is it just 4 pins?
1, 2,
3, 4.
And then it's probably this and this.
Exact. Yeah, those are like the mounting.
Okay.
Because there's a metal part that goes.
All right. So why don't I get the desoldering iron over here?
Fire it up.
Is that how you want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
All right, guys. I'm gonna come in here and just add some new solder to the transformer, and then we'll desolder it with the Hacko. It's labeled on the bottom, which is nice. GE had their act together way more than Syzygy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add new solder to all these pads, and then we'll desolder it, and hopefully the transformer just falls out. So there's 4 pads that have that little squiggly transformer symbol, and then the top and the bottom are just kind of the meat of it. You think, like the
Yeah, there's like a
the
metal,
body.
Yeah. Metal support or whatever that allows you to secure it to the PCB.
I have to tell you, I've been dreading the TV. Like I just wanted to just. I was kind of in denial that we ever had to actually work on it. You know, because the PCBs are nice, easy to get
So
to.
accessible.
You know, it's not going to kill you.
A lot less foreign.
Right. A lot less scary in general. A lot less parts. And they tried jamming so much stuff in a small package, so it's just all this stuff on top of each other.
It looks so much cleaner, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Looks like a complete
So anyway, I'm going to go in here and just hopefully desolder all these completely, and the part will just come off. Is this a...
There you go.
yum.
That one didn't feel like it was melting. I get
That
it?
one's bent a little bit to the side. You might need to come in kind of with an
A
angle.
different angle. There you go.
I don't think I was making contact with it.
Right.
That one's clean completely. I could see it.
Yep.
I'm going to come back on this one. So anyway, I'm going to keep going here, and I'm going to clean all these out, and hopefully we'll get the transformer off in one shot.
On your mark.
All right, so the transformer's free right now, but Adam's trying to yank it out, and he's having trouble because there's wires going over it.
Yeah. I think it has to do with the mod that they did.
But he's totally wiggling it, and you can see
It's
that
free,
it's
it's
totally
totally
free, yeah.
It's just, it's like pulling a wiggly tooth.
Yeah. Should we tie it to a doorknob?
Dog. Yeah, we might have to desolder these other wires here.
Really? You can't push them out of the way at all, huh?
Not really. I'll keep trying.
All right, we're gonna keep trying wiggling this transformer, and hopefully we get it out. I mean, it's totally desoldered. It's just that Adam can't really negotiate around the other parts on the other side, which is kind of hard to show you guys, but
You can probably see from my angle.
yeah. So, all right, we're gonna get it out.
Oh no, this thing?
All right, we got the transformer out. So here it is. Here's the part that we are struggling to get off. But so we suspect this is bad. Warren's gonna go ahead and test the resistance on it to see if it's open. So it's,
I'm not sure which way this is wired. Okay, so yeah, 0.6 ohms
0.6 ohms.
on that set. And 260.
On your mark.
So what is that telling us, you think? So you got 0.6 on one side and 200 and something on another?
Yeah. And that's not what I was seeing on the other end of the speaker wires.
Yeah, where do those speaker wires go then?
I think they go to the bottom.
If that's the case, they should tie into that transformer.
Are you saying that the transformer is potentially good?
Yeah. Potentially.
These wires come.
It had something to do with this.
Speaker wires came off.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, that may be in the problem.
Yeah.
Wait, the speaker wire just came off?
Wait a minute, how did we get the same signal on both ends? I mean, it had to be connected to something at some point, right?
Well, it looks like we're about to learn all about these mods.
This was about to break on here.
Shit. That's a bad thing that just happened right there, guys. The wire, the speaker wire that goes to the mod that was done at the factory just fell off, and we don't.
I think I know where it goes.
You do?
Yeah.
But look at.
Let me see. What's on the other end?
It has some insulation on the
see,
one side.
I know where this goes.
Does it go? It goes on a test pin.
Yeah. If you come over here, you can see the other one's still on it.
We know it has to go to the output of the transformer. We just need to figure out where they.
Oh, I see.
Where they did that.
But they did this so it goes right into a test pin, right? Is that why?
I think so.
What is on here? Is there a pin in here? A female pin?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. With heat shrink tubing.
I gotcha. Yeah, I see. Okay, so they put a female pin on one end of the speaker wire to plug directly into one of the test points.
The other one's still hooked up, Warren?
The other wire's still soldered in, right?
Yeah, the green one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can see where they go, right here.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it super obvious?
Yes. Yep.
So what do you want to do, Warren? So you think the transformer's good?
I think it might be. Yeah.
Could this have not been in all the way?
I'm not sure why we would have seen, like Adam said, why we would have
Same
seen the signal
signal
on
both
on
sides,
both.
though?
Yeah.
Well, one side of the coil was shorted. Yeah, that's weird.
So when you test the coil, you're getting.
Actually, yeah, 0.6 ohms is kind of low, for that matter.
0.5 ohms, 0.6.
That's
Yeah.
really low.
But what does that tell you that if the resistance is that low?
On your mark.
The coil's shorted and it's not really doing its job.
There's no resistance in it
Right, you should have some.
because the other side is in the hundreds.
Yeah.
It's almost 300, 260. So do you think one side of that is bad?
It could be.
Maybe.
It depends on what the ratio is of this transformer, but I don't know. 0.6 ohms seems pretty low to me. I don't know.
I'm wondering if we can measure the one in the other TV without a lot of effort.
Yeah, just probing the bottom of the chassis.
Okay. All right, let's get the other TV up here, and then we're gonna measure the coil from the bottom. The TV's over.
He's got it.
Oh. So we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing and pull that chassis out. Okay, so we just made a discovery, right? Yes?
Yes. Yes, the transformer is not bad.
The transformer's not bad because we measured the transformer in the eBay TV and it's measuring exactly the same, right? And then we just kind of discussed what has happened here, and we think we had such high resistance at the speaker.
Actually, it was in the connector. The pin. You know how he pulled the pin out of the chassis?
Yes.
I think it was very poorly connected in the chassis.
Right. So we think we had a bad connection.
Yeah.
And the black wire with that little female wasn't in all the way.
Right.
And so or was disconnected completely. And when you had the oscilloscope on the speaker, you were reading it through the speaker.
Yeah, I was reading the one wire direct, and then the other probe
Right.
was on the other side of the speaker.
It was going to the other side.
Going through the coil of the speaker.
Right.
So the second wire to the board wasn't doing anything.
Yeah. So we just had potentially just a bad connection.
Yeah.
Right. So we removed the transformer, we tested it.
So we removed the transformer for nothing really, but
Well, on the plus side, we can change that capacitor while we've got the
yeah.
the chassis out. But
it's a bummer that we had to go through this and it wasn't this part.
that's okay though.
Worse things could have happened.
Yeah.
So let's put this back in.
Put that back in.
We're
get
gonna
the
make our
connections hooked up.
solid connection to the test point with the black wire, right? and then change the paper cap since we have this out right now, right?
Right.
Where's the paper cap on here?
It is also right in the front.
On your mark.
So the paper cap, oh, it's right there.
Right there, yeah.
So that's a 60.
.068
Okay.
microfarad.
Yeah,
have that?
I do. I have the electrolytic cap. So we're gonna go ahead and put the transformer back in, and then change that cap. But we think we might have just found the audio problem.
Yeah, I think it's a very good chance.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So basically, just so you guys know what we're doing, we ended up taking the transformer off the eBay TV.
Anyway.
Simply because the one that we pulled, the leads on here, this lead in particular, was super sketchy, and we just didn't like how that felt. And the one that we pulled out of the eBay TV was like 20 times nicer, and the pins were permanently in the right position to match the chassis. Whereas this one, it was like maybe an older part and they were retrofitting something else to fit in there. Whereas this one was specifically designed for that hole pattern. And so we were able to just pop it in like 1 second. So Warren right now is just soldering it in, and then we're gonna replace the capacitor, make our connection at the test point with the black wire, and then see what happens, and hopefully we got sound.
On your mark.
I think the odds are pretty good that we figured it out.
Yep.
I wonder if we should solder the wire to the test point. No need.
We'll try without. I mean,
Yeah. But is that test point in such a spot though that the only way we could plug it in is we have to pull the chassis out every time?
I think so.
Is the green wire also going to a test point?
The green wire is going. So there's 2 test points right next to the transformer,
Yeah.
and so
Oh, I see. The green wire is going back there.
it's right there. Yeah.
Okay, transformer is in.
All right. Okay, so let me get the capacitor. What's that?
I was going to say, let's get the cap.
Yeah, I'll grab the capacitor and then we'll do that. All right, so Warren just desoldered the original capacitor, and that's a .068.
.068 1000.
And this thing was made with paper. Look at that. It looks like a little firecracker. And here's our little modern replacement, which is not made from paper.
Some kind of like Mylar film or something.
Yeah, but it's the same value, .068. How many? 1,000 volts?
1000 volts.
Wow. 1,000 volt DC. Eek. So this is the only paper cap on the whole thing, right?
Right.
And what's the story with those? Are they notorious for drying out, or what?
Yeah, I think so.
Dry out and fail.
On your mark.
And that was like one of the first things people started making comments on was you got to replace the paper cap, paper cap, paper cap. I think that's just like the rule of this old stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, before you get too far into the troubleshooting.
Right. All right, so we're going to solder this cap in, and then we'll be back. Real quick, I'll share with you guys here. So the cap is right here. And it's kind of in a weird spot, but it's that yellow guy right there. And so we're going to go ahead and just solder that in. We're not going to touch the can. We'll save that for a rainy day. That can is pretty intimidating, I have to say. Just because I've never done it, I kind of get the principle, and I read, it's very common in old radios and stuff, and cutting the thing open and stuffing 4 capacitors inside.
Oh, is that what you do?
Yeah.
No kidding.
But you got to make sure that they're not all like shorting to the ground, and
Right.
I guess you ground it to the body. Is that right, Warren?
Yeah, the body is ground, and then there's 4 pins in the middle for the 4 different capacitors.
So all the positive go to different spots, and the grounds are all tied together.
Right.
Yeah, if you look at it up here, these 4 tabs on the outside are the ground, and then these 4 things with the different shapes, the like A, B, C, D, and they have these symbols on them, and that matches up to some things that are written on the side of it as to which things are which values.
Right.
But yeah, it's just you could probably just connect.
But we could just desolder that thing and put the electrolytics on top, right?
Yeah, we could. There's quite a bit of space around it. We probably could fit them all on top. But we can decide to do that or not.
Right. I mean, we could do that while the chassis is in, because we can get to it.
Yeah.
You know, I watched a YouTube video. It was like some guitar amp guy, and he was proving a point that those are rarely bad, is what he was trying to prove. He had like some, 1960s Fender amp, and he's like, I bet you this is fine. And he pulled it out, and it was fine. It's like, see, told you. All you guys keep changing these.
Yeah, some of them are going to be better than like your average cap you buy today.
Right,
if it
and
still
that's
works after 40 years.
That's the point he was trying to make, is that you guys just keep shotgunning these. You're changing the sound, man.
Well, my thinking too is like 90% of this is for video,
right?
Which is working.
Yes.
Right? So let's not mess with it.
Yeah.
But the two parts that are for audio, we've worked on it. So
right. Okay, so we got to make our connection at the test point, Adam.
Right, do you see?
You saw it. I don't see it.
So I don't know if I can point this out. Can you see me?
Yeah.
So there's one test point.
Oh, okay.
The other test point is right above it. Do you see it?
Oh yeah.
And that's it. So those.
Oh
to the
yeah.
transformer, the ends of the transformer.
Okay. So we gotta get the black wire on there.
Right.
God, that'd be something if that's all it was that disconnected. All right. So how do we do that?
Where's that guy anyway?
I think it went over there somewhere.
Let's see.
All right, we're gonna find the black wire and we're gonna attach it to the test point. If we can find the black wire, there's lots of that's it. The one end has the female connector.
That's it right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now you know what? A lot of this is actually just insulated.
Yeah, it doesn't get to the meat of the metal
Right.
for some time.
Here we go. And that could.
So is the metal right top now?
Yeah, it's right there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna plug this in here. Maybe.
If I can.
It's really
It's hard to
close.
see it from this angle.
On your mark.
Yeah, I see.
Get set.
I mean, that thing kind of fell off as soon as we took this
Yeah, it did.
apart.
Yeah.
That tells me it was barely on there.
How's that look? You got a better angle
Did-
than me.
It looks like it's on. If you tug it, does it move at all? I'm just curious.
No, that's on there.
It's on there.
Yeah. And I'll make.
I bet you that was the problem all along.
I hope so. Well, I mean, but that transformer was sketchy with that lead. It's just
Yeah.
spinning around. I feel so much better with knowing that this new one is in here.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
all right.
All right. So we're gonna put this all back together. Is there any merit in cleaning the pots while we have this all out with deoxit
They're
or?
easier to get to right now. It wouldn't be a bad idea.
All right. So.
I got 0.6 across this now, so the connection is good.
Oh. Really?
So,
Before it was like mega ohm,
yeah,
almost a
before
mega
it was a
ohm,
mega
right?
ohm,
Yeah.
so there was a break before.
Okay. So he just measured resistance for the speaker wires. He's getting 0.6 ohm, and before we had like 300 mega ohms or something, or
Like
one.
800.
It was like, yeah, it was like a mega
Or,
ohm.
yeah,
A mega ohm.
800.
So I think we just fixed it.
Yeah, that's looking pretty good.
Holy
so,
cow.
Yeah, let's
Wanna
some contact cleaner or the deoxit on the
pots. All right. All right. We decided not to clean the pots right now. We'll do it when the TV's upright.
On your mark.
And but we just dropped this thing in. So here's our speaker wires. We got to put the anode back on.
Those are actually coming out in a different direction than they were before.
Should we have it come out here?
They kind of came out like around the front and out, so they weren't going over all the tubes.
Oh.
So we may want to pull this out a little bit.
And go underneath.
Yeah, see if you can go underneath all these yoke wires and stuff.
Like that. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
We ought to like clamp those on here somehow.
Yeah, I have a zip strip. We'll zip strip it to this. That way we can't accidentally tug it out again. Not saying we did it, but someone did it.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe the door was swung too far and it yanked the cord out.
Right.
Well, I'm very excited to see what happens here. I can't believe how much stuff is fixed.
Yeah.
I mean, if the audio works right now,
But you're done.
we're pretty much done. I mean, the TV and the picture isn't very stable. We don't know if we have all the right sounds.
Yeah, I think you probably still got some sound issues. probably caps.
Yeah.
In the sound section, I guess. But we'll see.
This was a big failure. All right. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and zip strip this on here, and then we'll put the anode back in, or you just did?
Yep.
And then we'll turn it on. All right, guys, everything is put back together. We put the wires back on for the video, the audio, and the ground that goes to the back of the TV. We didn't clean the pots yet. We'll worry about that later. And we have our speaker hooked up. We resoldered the wires here. So everything is ready to go.
I think so.
If we did this right, we have sound. if we discovered the issue. All right, you guys ready?
Ready.
I'm just double checking everything. Everything looks connected. Nothing's loose. Here we go.
Volume's turned up.
All right.
Yeah, it's in the middle.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know which way is up and down.
What, for the speaker?
Yes.
For the volume?
Put the volume halfway to get the starting point.
Okay. So we're letting everything warm up here. Oh my God.
Video's back. We got a video.
All right, you ready to coin up?
Ready to coin out.
Here we go. I just heard a speaker.
Oh.
We got sound.
Yeah. Turn it up. There you go. Come over here. You can hear it over there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Holy shit. Dude, the sound sounds good, Warren. It sounded better than when we hooked it up to your amplifier.
Yeah. Well, that timing thing that we fixed.
Yeah.
That cap. I think that affected some of the sounds.
Wow.
See now, like when I rotate, it just makes like a dee 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 dee
Yeah.
instead of just a tone.
It sounds right to me.
Yeah, it does.
We'll have to look at some videos, but it's close.
it's-
There might still be some bad caps in the.
Yeah.
In the
I'm
sound
gonna
section.
I'm gonna replace all the electrolytics on the PCBs. But
it
dude,
seems
this is
like
it.
You have sound. You have sound. You have gameplay.
We gotta fix the button,
Yeah, you got one bad button,
which
is just the spring.
yeah.
That's
So-
cool.
Gameplay works. Score
Oh
works,
my
sound
God.
works. It's cool.
Guys, thank you so much.
That was fun.
Glad to
That was a lot of fun.
awesome project.
So we are, I mean, just little teeny tiny loose ends.
Yeah.
Is the TV seem more stable?
No, TV's about the same.
It's not bad.
You think it has to do with the pots? That are-
Yeah,
oh, sorry, the pots in the
we
back?
can clean the pots really fast. The TV looks good to me.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
The TV does not look bad right now to me. We had some geometry issues before, where it was like kind of stretched out.
Yeah, I think you got it adjusted so that was about right. Boy, I really suck at this.
Well, one-handed and one button.
Dude, I cannot believe what we're seeing right now. We got sound, we got the gameplay. The picture's really stable. I mean, I'm tempted to leave this on for like 10 hours and see what happens.
Burn in.
Should we clean the pots really quick?
Yeah, let's clean the pots.
All right, we're gonna clean the pots in the back. Dude, I cannot believe we have sound. And by the way, this cheap power supply is working fine. I'm tempted to just say screw that. I mean, we'll keep the original there. Sure. It's nice to look at it. Right. But that's working just fine.
I remember when we unloaded it in the garage.
Yeah.
The first thing was like, let's disconnect this.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Right now, that thing's plugged in still. It's still generating voltage.
But not current, apparently.
Right.
As soon as you loaded it, yeah, no more voltage.
All right, so let's we're gonna take some deoxit and just spray all these pots and work them back and forth and see if anything changes. We'll be back. All right, guys, I did spray some deoxit on the pots and cleaned them, and of course I had it dialed in like perfectly before, and now it's not dialed in, and the picture's okay. I'm gonna have to spend some time with those knobs, just getting it in the right spot. We kind of lost a lot of our contrast. The picture's just brighter in general. I don't know what it is. It's like when you find that sweet spot with those the vertical pots, the picture just like pops. And look at that. Maybe the deoxit wasn't a good idea.
It just needs to dry out. Maybe it's still
Yeah,
in
it might
there.
just need to dry out.
And then, by the way, if we come over here and press on, it turns on a test pattern that goes over the entire screen. Computer space is still behind it.
See the shit too.
It just drew this like grid over the whole thing. So, anyway, listen, guys, we kicked butt today. Adam, Warren, I have to really thank you guys. You guys are amazing.
Great machine to work on.
I mean, my God, it's done. I mean, I just have some loose ends here, and I gotta clean the button or fix the button over there. But my God, we have sound, we have picture, we have everything's there. Oh my God, oh my! And then look at this. Of course,
I think it needs to dry out those pots.
you think so? Yeah.
I mean, it's all the vertical pots that we.
Right. So I'm gonna let the deoxit dry overnight. Maybe the deoxit wasn't a great idea. So, all right, you guys want to hang out and do some viewer mail with me?
Sure.
All right, let's print some out and go to the table. All right, guys, there you have it. Man alive. Guys, I cannot believe it's working.
Did it.
Holy cow. I have to, honestly, I truthfully have to thank you guys for coming over. And, I mean, we nailed it.
That's fun.
You guys nailed it. I mean, we were talking about this, and like, literally everything that we did was right on.
Yeah.
Was right on the... No, I mean, what, the transformer?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
One or two steps.
But really, every move that we made, you know, from the time that Warren was here in the last video, you know, one chip, you know, even my video was pretty lucky. I picked the right tubes, right? So I want to thank you guys for helping me. I cannot believe that game is working. I thought we'd have a little bit of rum to celebrate. And now Adam doesn't.
I don't drink.
Yeah, I know.
drink.
I know Adam. So
Well, you know me, so.
you have some iced tea.
Nice. Thanks, man.
So we'll have some Pratt rum. One of my viewers sent me this, and I save it for special occasions. And I do think that this is a special occasion. Would you agree?
Well, I'm honored.
What do you think? Pretty good, right?
Yeah. Crack open.
So
my
we'll have some of
Diet
this.
Fuse.
Your Diet Fuse iced tea. So Warren, Adam, I want to thank you guys so much for helping me.
Well, it has
A
been
little taste there.
It has been a pleasure.
Yeah.
I mean, I truly cannot believe after this, you know, after today, everything is working really, right? Yeah. Connections may be a little off or something or flaky. I don't know. Things are jumpy, right? You know, maybe it's the caps on the TV. We kind of suspect that issue maybe is a PCB issue. What do you think?
Caps on the on the TV or
On the PCB, maybe?
maybe just the pots are still dirty and crusty.
Yeah, those pots are super sensitive on the TV because if I move them just like a half a millimeter, it drastically changes the picture. So anyway, guys, cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for all your help today. And Warren, thanks for coming back. You guys are awesome. Did I assemble a dream team or what? So I'm thinking now, what do we do in the next video? What do? I want to address that button in the front to make sure we have left and right rotate.
It's really up to you now.
Yes, it is.
We're in the clear.
Yes. Well, Warren, you can always come back. I'm just saying. But I want to fix that button. I want to replace all the light bulbs with new ones because those bulbs are probably 30, simple stuff, 30, 40 years old. I want to replace all the electrolytic capacitors on the PCB. And do you think I should use the same form factor they used, or should I get I always get them confused. Axial and
Radio. Axial
radio.
is like an axle in a car.
Yes.
Radio is different too.
Right. So they used axial in like a radial form factor though. I should just get the
It doesn't matter.
get the radial,
I'd go with radio.
but it won't
Easier
look
to print.
original. It's important that it looks original, right?
From the inside of the machine,
Yes.
nobody can see.
Oh, I see that you replaced those capacitors.
Somebody will complain. Somebody watching this.
Right.
Don't you dare put axials in there.
You think so? I bet you're right.
Probably.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody's gonna do it.
So anyway, guys, thank you. I can't believe that everything's working. The ships, the UFOs, the audio,
Scoring.
the picture. I'm going to spend some time. I'm going to dial that TV in. But really, I mean, we're 99% there. It's just making sure everything's up to spec and clean. And by the way, I want to spend one video here cleaning and buffing the cabinet.
Right.
That's going to be kind of fun. I'm going to go online and try to find some little buff kit, like for a boat or something, like a fiberglass. Because I don't want to ruin that yellow finish. I just want to make it shinier.
Yeah.
That's all. That's my only goal, right? So just maybe some wax and a buffer or some polish or what do they call it? Polish?
Buffer, yeah.
No, the liquid stuff. There's wax and there's polish.
Buffing compound.
Buffing compound. That's what.
Huge container of it at home.
Will that take the color off or no?
No, I've used it on. Oh, I bought it. I had a Saturn, which it was like 90% of it's a fiberglass body.
Okay.
And I used it on that. It looked beautiful. It looked,
Oh, really?
Even a mirror finish. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so let's do viewer mail.
Yeah.
I printed off 4 random ones.
Okay.
Not necessarily for you.
All right.
But one of them I think is for you.
Okay.
Okay. And by the way, if you guys want to participate in the viewer mail segment, email them to me, blkdog7@gmail.com. blkdog7@gmail.com. I can tell that the camera is leaning. You see that?
It's just you.
It's just me? All right. And by the way, in the subject line, you have to put viewer mail. This one's from Camilo. Hi, John. I love your videos. Keep up the good work. I would like to know whatever happened to that Miss Pac-Man that you bought at that warehouse. Also, I would enjoy if you did more Atari 800XL videos. Thank you, Camilo. So if you guys remember, I picked up a $50 Miss Pac-Man at that warehouse.
Yeah.
Somewhere in...
Was it painted all blue on side?
Yeah, it was. And I was going to convert it. My plan with that was to convert it to a Galaga.
Okay.
Because I want a Galaga. And when I got into it, when I started researching it, I started realizing and figuring out that a Miss Pac-Man cabinet, even though the profile is the same, is not the same as Galaga.
Okay.
And the placement of the coin door is different.
Okay.
So the artwork, the kick plate artwork for Galaga would interfere with the coin door opening. And then also the monitor is mounted in a different spot on Miss Pac-Man than it is compared to Galaga. So if you just put a Galaga bezel over, the monitor isn't lined up with the hole.
Okay.
And so you'd have to redo the coin door and then also move the monitor. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do that. So I'll just find a real Galaga when I want one. And so I ended up selling the Miss Pac-Man to our friend Quinn.
Okay.
And I believe that he restored it completely. I think so.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he got it running, and I think, I don't know if he did stencils or stickers, but I think he completely restored that to a Miss Pac-Man. So the answer is it went to a good home, it went to a friend's house, and I think he got it working completely. So, and as far as the 800XL videos, I've been thinking a lot about those. I will do more of those. I want to do like kind of like the AB, you know, we'll play Donkey Kong Jr. Arcade and then play it on the 800XL.
Or on the NES too. Or something.
Yeah, or on the NES.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be doing the Raspberry Pi video soon. And I asked Adam if he wanted to hang out, and we did that.
Yeah,
so
really
maybe this week we'll do the Raspberry Pi 3 video where we install RetroPie, and then we'll play it on that TV. And you're going to bring your NES USB controller.
Do you have an SNES one or something?
Yeah, I have a Super Nintendo one, and maybe we'll play some Street Fighter or
There you
something.
go. I don't know how to work on my... I only got 2 buttons.
We should play like Genesis Mortal Kombat.
There you go.
Did you play those games?
No, I missed that generation.
Really?
I was the SNES fanboy.
This next one's from Jeremy Stefan. Hello, John. Just a quick question that you may or may not be able to answer, but maybe one of these guys can answer it. I have a 2-board Donkey Kong set. Okay. On the video board at 8A, there is a missing RAM chip and a broken ceramic capacitor. I can track down the cap easy enough, but finding the RAM chip is slightly confusing to me.
Okay.
The RAM chip is an HD S4L S367AP.
Okay.
That's easy enough to discern. Does the number on top of the chip make any difference? Or is that simply a number of manufacturer, like a serial number? I found chips that had the same HD74, but the other number is different. Any suggestions? This is kind of like what we ran into with that S4LS, whatever, that we used, right?
Similar, yeah.
Where most of the letters line up, but there's a couple variants, right?
So usually there's 2 sets of numbers.
Yes.
One is the part number.
Yes.
So in this case, it's a 74LS367.
Yes.
And then you usually have other numbers that reflect the manufacturer.
Yeah.
And not only the manufacturer,
Could be
maybe the batch.
the date code or something.
The date code, but also a wafer code, because these things are made out of large wafers that are diced up into smaller pieces. So
Yeah.
sometimes you'll see a wafer code on there, sometimes you'll see a date code and those sort of things. So you really just want to make sure the part number matches. If it matches, then you should be good to go. The other numbers, you don't really need to worry about that. It's for...
Right, so disregard the other numbers. So go on eBay or wherever you're going to buy this chip and look for an HD74S367.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You don't even need the HD, do you? It's just 74.
Right, HDB may be the prefix for, say, Motorola and maybe TI.
Right.
Different prefix.
So 74LS367.
Right.
Just look for that.
Yep.
And you should be good to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And, you know, put the socket in like we did, and if it doesn't work, you could
There you go.
go buy another one, you know? You can't really hurt anything.
No.
if the chip's a little out of spec compared to the original.
Yeah.
But usually, as the chips get newer, they just get faster, right? They still.
It can be a problem.
It can be a problem.
But in general, it's okay.
Okay. All right, so we're telling him just look for 74LS367 and away you go. All right, Jeremy, hopefully we helped you. Tony, hey, John, I thought I would pass this along. Warren, this is actually kind of for you. I had a couple people tell me about that book you gave me. Warren gave
design.
Yeah, he gave me a book in the last video, and so I had one person, was it Etienne or Leslie in the UK? They bought the book on Amazon for 40 not 48 cents, 0.48 euros, like a half a euro, which is like what, $2 or something. So, or a dollar.
It's like $1.
Yeah, on Amazon. And then this guy Tony said he went into Safari, okay. And after watching the last video, I considered ordering a used copy of the digital design book that you recommended. But instead, he went into Safari and started searching on his iPad, and all of a sudden, the Google autofill filled in an address to a PDF that you can download. So,
Legit or?
well, I don't know. It's actually on this.
It's from a book's website.
Yeah, so if you start typing in the computer science, digital logic, and state machine design, is that it?
Principles
Yeah, just digital design principles.
and practices is the one.
Yeah, Wakerly. It will autofill and it will go right to a PDF. Is that the same book?
Looks like that's for CS 2204. It's like for a certain college course or something.
Oh, okay. Interesting. He says you can download the entire 4th edition of the book is for free.
Yeah, I don't know if that's on the level or not, but honestly, buying a used copy of a book that's 20 years old isn't going to help the publishers any.
Right.
So,
Yes.
so for that one, I do recommend having the book, just because then you can, unplug and do it completely
I love
away
having a
from
physical
everything else.
copy.
Yeah,
Which
like the
is a data
TTL book.
I
Yeah,
have paper
there's
copies.
something therapeutic about that,
It is,
and the thing is, you're not tempted to tab over to something else and go check Clove and
YouTube and-
right, exactly. Oh, I got an email. What's on Twitter?
out of the rabbit hole.
The books can't do that. Keep up the great work on Computer Space. P.S. Oh, and thank you for getting Matt to autograph the Killscreen CD. So yeah, I sent him an autographed Killscreen CD. And thanks for this shirt I threw in the box. I gave him a shirt for free. Pretty nice guy, right? Tony actually mailed me the Edge magazine that I was in. He wanted me to sign it.
yeah.
And then I also signed the CD with Matt and then sent it back to him, and I threw a t-shirt in there. So he's a diehard fan. So Tony, thank you and enjoy. This is from Rob. Hey, John, I love your videos, especially the restoration ones. Also, if you need an idea for an arcade tour, Indianapolis is finally about to get its first beercade coming in a few weeks. With a great, good lineup of games. On a personal note, and by the way, I'm told a lot about these barcades. Everybody wants me to. Right. So I am keeping note of these. So next time I'm in Indy, which does happen occasionally, I might check that out. On a personal note, you've motivated me to start a MAME-cade project, and I've been considering for a while. I just want to know how you decide which games that you sell off and move out of the basement to make room for a new one.
What a coincidence, huh?
I know. I collect consoles and console game myself and would find it hard to get rid of most things. Also, what games do you have that you would never part with? Thanks for answering and look forward to seeing how this Computer Space finishes up. Rob L. And P.S. as a Colts fan, I look forward to the new John's Arcade tabletop cover with the Patriot one gone. Yes, we're going to get rid of this Patriot table because I don't care about football.
You know where you live, right?
What? I'm a Bears fan. I'm from Chicago. If I'm going to root for a team, it's the Bears. I don't care about... I literally got this table because it was cheap on eBay. Right. That's it. I went on eBay looking for a bar table, and this was like, at the time, like $50. This table now is like $300, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. If you Google this...
They're doing really well.
No, I think this is supposedly commercial quality.
Oh, is it?
But it wobbles. I don't know. I think I wanted something that was good quality and... Whatever, it was cheap, but I'm gonna change the top to say John's Arcade. All right, so he says,
how do you decide?
How do you decide, Adam? You don't sell stuff hardly ever.
I don't sell stuff.
You have room though. That's why.
That's the problem.
Yeah. What's the last game that you sold? I bought your Baby Pac-Man.
Was that the last one? Really?
That's, by the way, I met Adam through
That's how we met,
Craigslist.
Yeah.
Casual encounters.
Yeah, that's right. Single male. Looking
Right.
up with
Right. Middle-aged arcade nerd wanting to meet middle-aged arcade male nerd. No, Adam was selling a Baby Pac-Man on Craigslist for like $50.
Yeah.
And the thing was hosed.
Right.
But that's how I met you.
That's how I met you. Yeah.
Yep.
And then that day,
Right.
that day, Spade PM me and he goes, "Look at this knucklehead," or no, what is it? Some guy's giving away a baby pack on Craigslist for $50.
Yeah.
This guy ended up with it. And I'm like, yeah, that's my game. And you were on Clav. You were
Right.
like, check out this game. I got for $50. I'm like, yeah, you're welcome, pal.
That was funny.
So, yeah.
So was that the last game you sold?
That may have been the last game.
Wow.
Oh, actually, no, that may have been the last game I sold.
Warren, are you turning over games a lot? No, no, you're not.
No, they haven't moved in 15 years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. So I mean, to answer the question for myself, I don't. It's gotten to the point now where I really can justify owning every game down here.
Right.
And the thing is, though, I can't own every game down here because I got 3 games in the garage with nowhere to go. We got computer space with nowhere to go. So I have to make some tough decisions right now. And so the last decision I made was Asteroids Deluxe. I don't know why I made that decision. It just seemed like the one to go. Mm-hmm. I thought about either Asteroids or Outrun. Mm-hmm. And I decided that Asteroids, because Outrun is too hard to get out. It's buried in the corner.
There you go.
Right?
Asteroids is like right by the door.
Outrun is Asteroids is on the way out already. So, and you know, Asteroids, I figured if I want to revisit Asteroids later, no problem.
Yeah.
'Cause that's a very common game.
Would you say it's easier to find?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Outrun Cabaret is harder to get.
Right.
And more desirable. Yeah. And mine is in really nice shape. It works great.
Yeah.
Because Outrun has a reputation of not being very reliable.
Right.
You know. And so, I mean, all my games are reliable, so it's hard to get rid of them because you never know what you're going to replace it with.
Yeah.
But I figured that down the road, if I want to revisit Asteroids, maybe I'll get an original one instead of Deluxe.
Yeah.
To have something new.
Right.
Because Asteroids really is one of my favorite games. I mean, that's like one of my earliest arcade memories.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's nice to have a vector in here. As
well, I got Major Havoc and Tempest.
That's true.
And we're going to have Quantum. Quantum's coming down. So, I mean, there's no shortage of vectors down here. I just don't have a black and white vector now.
Right.
So, I think we'll revisit Asteroids at some point in my life. Maybe I get Asteroids Cabaret.
Little or even cocktail or something. I don't know if you got room for that.
Nah, the Cabaret, the Asteroids Cabaret is cool. It's ugly, though.
They have 19 or 13 inch monitor.
13.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah, it has that little triangle top.
Yeah.
Asteroids Cabaret is kind of ugly, but...
Yeah, it's like the little stubby like podium thing.
Yeah. But I don't know. So listen, I don't know what to get rid of next, and I have to get rid of one more game at least. I think the dartboard's gonna go.
It only really gets played at parties, right?
It only gets played at parties. But the thing is, my wife comes down here and we do enjoy it.
Really?
So when I have those moments with her,
Yeah.
I don't want to lose
Is she
that.
okay? Have you kind of floated
no,
the idea?
I haven't. We haven't had the conversation. The thing is, she would say, "Who cares?"
Right. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, the dartboard's broken right now. Actually, I never fixed it. The 20s are not registering, so I think I have a bad spider thing in there. So anyway, yes, Rob, and good luck to you on your MAME-cade project. So, all right, guys, that's it. We're done. It's getting hot down here.
Warm all the games.
Is it the rum? How do you find that Pratt?
Very nice.
It's smooth,
nice.
right? Very pleasant. We have our Brofest glasses. By the way, Brofest is coming up.
It is.
June 2nd and 3rd at Fun Spot. Adam will be there. Are you coming? You should come, Warren.
I'll have to look into that.
Do you know about Brofest?
I heard about it. Yeah, I saw your video.
So I mean, we are running the tournament at Fun Spot now, and so it's going to be a 2-day event, Friday and Saturday, which I think is is it June 3rd and 4th or 2nd and 3rd. Is that Tempest beeping over there?
Probably.
I think it is. I think I hear it.
When you fix one has to go down, right? Isn't that how?
Tempest is beeping over there. I got to replace that edge connector. Anyway, yes, go to arcadeoutsiders.com. I have all the details for Brofest. But guys, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me, buddy.
Thanks. You guys are amazing. I mean,
Very nice to meet you, Adam.
today couldn't have went any better, honestly.
Yeah.
I can't believe. I cannot believe it.
That's awesome.
I mean, when we were off camera, I kept going, oh my God, oh my God. I can't believe that we have sound. I can't believe everything is working. And it's all, we didn't have to, I thought worst case scenario, I'd have to use the new TV. We have to figure the mods out. No. We're using the original TV.
Yeah.
The only thing that's not original right now is the power supply. Ian Kellogg told me he'd fix it though.
There you go. Delegate.
Well, I mean, he is a power supply engineer. That's what he does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, I mean, that's what he just does for a living. He designs power supplies. So,
Take advantage.
if anyone can fix it, it's him. So, anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Warren. Check out Adam at onecircuit.com. Also, his YouTube channel is called One Circuit. If you guys like this arcade stuff, you gotta subscribe to his channel. His stuff is way more technical, and he, like I said, he just did board repairs. He did a reflow oven. And Warren here, he hides out. You can't find him.
I hide out.
Don't look for him. So, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, tell your friends, and check out my 2 podcasts, Video Game Outsiders at videogameoutsiders.com and Arcade Outsiders at arcadeoutsiders.com. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I'll see you very soon. Actually, hopefully midweek. If you want to come over, we'll do that Raspberry Pi thing. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do that together. So, all right, guys, later and bye.